Hello guys, my name is Hatam and today we are going to talk about version controlling, and after explaining the theory and the use cases, we are gonna jump into an example and show you how it looks like. First of all, what is version controlling? Imagine you are working on a project and you're constantly changing your code, you're adding files, removing files and do all these changes. But it would be best to have a system to keep track of all your changes. This way you can go back to your changes, see what you have done, why these changes has been done, and so forth. Or imagine you're working in a team of developers and all of you working in a big system. This way each person can keep track of their own code and see what code changes has been done to a specific code, why it has been done, and what was the last changes. Sometimes you want to test different features and how they can affect your code. This way you can create different branches, change your code, test it, and see how it goes. If it was successful, if you like the end result, you can merge it to your main branch. So for all these scenarios we have a solution. This solution called version control. Version control is a basic tool a developer can use to enhance its workflow. For using version controlling in your system, you can use one of the biggest open source projects called Git. There are three big companies that working in this system. One of them is a GitHub, which is I think one of the biggest one. The second one is GitLab, and the last one is Bitbucket. Most of these services has a free version and a paid version, each one suited for different uses. Now, in case you don't use any services, you can download the Git from the source code and use it in your own server and locally as well. So what is a typical workflow of using Git in your system? So first of all, you either want to write a new code or start a new project. This way you will create a repository. So a repository is a bundle of directories and files filled with different parts of your project, which can be code, images, or anything else. It's a good practice to assign a repository to each project that you are doing. This way you remove the confusion down the line. Now, imagine you are starting a fresh new project. What you can do is that you can create a directory on your local environment and then do a git initialize. This way you will tell the system that this directory and all its child directory and its all codes and files in this directory would be tracked by Git. Other way that you can start with the project is that the project is already done. Somebody else done it and he put it on a Git system. But you want to make some changes or make it your own. So what you can do is that you can go to the Git repository that repository is placed on, and then get the URL. You can do a git clone and paste the directory of repository. Now, from now on, all the commands of the Git would be the same for both of them. A good tip to keep in mind, Git has a really nice command called Git Status, which when you run it, it will give you an overview of the files you have changed, or it has not changed, or what is the comparison between your files and the main branch. If you have a repository, you have a main branch. What is a branch? Branch is a snapshot of the first set of codes that you entered into the repository. Now imagine in your repository you only have one source file, or there's only one file with some codes in it. It can be any language. What you can do, you want to change that file. So you need to create a branch. What is a branch? Branch is a snapshot of that code. Each repository has a main branch or master branch. This branch is the main branch that keep track of the first set of code that you enter in your repository. From now on, it would be a best practice to create new branches derived from your main or master branch and work on those branches, and if everything is fine, then you can merge them together and have it as your main branch. Let's talk about what is the normal procedure of a Git. So you will check out a branch. It would be either a new one that you created or it's the one that already been created. Anyway, you will check out this branch. You make some changes to some files. You add some of them, you remove some of them, or you add files or remove them, or anything that you want. Just keep in mind, Git is already keep track of all these changes that you are making, but you need to tell them which one of these changes you want to submit to your branch. So what you do is you do git add, and then you name the files that you want to add. After that, you do another command called git commit. This step is very important because at this step you can write a comment. It could be a short comment, but this comment can give your commit a meaning. It can explain why you are making these changes. So down the line, you can come back and read the changes and read the comment that you made for this set of code that was changes. Now, after you write your command and do the get commit, what you can do is that get push. If you really know that this is the last one, you do get push. You push your code to the branch that you created on the get tracking system. Next step is that you want to merge this branch with the main production branch. What you do is you do a pull request. Pull request is a request against the main branch from the branch you just created and add some files to it or made some changes. At this step, you can see a comparison between your code and what has been changed. If you're working in a team of developers, it would be best to ask one of your colleagues or friends to check the code and make sure that it matches what you want to do. After checks has been done, test has been run, and everything is set, you will merge your branch with the main and master branch. This way, all the changes that you have made, it's been on the main branch. Now, this main branch can be deployed to the production. If you have a CI/CD system in place, it will take care of it automatically. Otherwise, you need to do it manually. Now that we talk about the version controlling and what it is and how it works, I recommend you to go to github.com and open a free account and start working with it. Create a new repository and start adding files and see how it works. Now, let's jump to my laptop and I will show you an example of how to work with Git. So let's see how it works. So first of all, you can open github.com, then go to the sign in if you already have an account. Otherwise, you need to go to the process and sign up. Click sign in, you enter your account. You will see all your repository on your left side. In the middle, you will see all the activity of the people who are you're following, the developers that you like their work. What you do is that because you want to start a new project, you click on new, and then you are the owner. If you have different accounts, you can select this one. You give it a name, so YouTube tutorial, and then you can give it a short description. This is a short tutorial for a version control video. Okay, then you can select if your repository is private or public. So it means that if you want to access it yourself only, or you want to, I mean, it's most even the people coming to your page, they can see this repository or not. So if you want to make it private, then nobody can access it, nobody can see it, and nobody can see your code. But you can set it as public. You can set a README file, for example, if you like, and then you can also add a git ignore. So git ignore is a file that you can mention what files in your directory you don't want to be uploaded to the to your repository. So for example, if you're developing with a framework and then you have some libraries that these framework your code needs to be run on, and in this way when you create your project in your local PC or computer, you run initial setup of the framework, and then there's some libraries that needs to be downloaded and then being added to your directory. But the thing is, all these library names, they are saved in a different file that shows that what kind of library you need for this file. And most of the time, library files, they contain thousands of different files and codes, and whoever wants to run your code, he can download them separately. So you don't need to upload all the library files and directories to your repository. So with a git ignore, you can open the file and select, for example, the directory of the libraries you don't want to be shown in your repository or uploaded to your repository. Otherwise, it will take time forever. Every time you want to put your code online, that it needs to push all the libraries to the get to your repository environment as well. So it's really nice to have this one as well. So here is said that you can select a template, So for example, for now, it depends on the what kind of a framework or language you want to work on. So it has all these different ones that you can choose. And so if, for example, you have a Python, a specific one, it has a I don't know, XJS and Eagle, and then a different one. So we don't select any of them now. Then we can select this, choose a license. So it depends on what the people can do or cannot do with your code. So for example, if your code is an open source project that anyone can contribute it, or they can use it for their own work, you can select a choose library and choose a license. And then you can select, for example, what kind of license you want to have. And so in this case, we don't need to select this one. And here, I think for the Gitignore template, it needs something to let me create a code. So let me see, cake PHP. Okay, okay, let's remove the Gitignore file and then create a repository. Then we can add the Gitignore one later. So okay, so your repository is now created. So this is a repository, and then you can see that it has a README file with the information that we put in the setup screen. So YouTube tutorial, this is a short YouTube version tutorial for the version control video. So we did the initial commit right now, which was this one. Now we want to have this one on our local environment, so we can start to add files to it, to write code, and then work with it. So now when you're opening the GitHub, you can go to code when you're in your repository and click on this button to copy the URL for the SSH. And then you can open your terminal, go to your directory, the empty directory that you want to have your repository there, and start working there. And then you can just write down git clone and then paste the URL that you had, then enter. So now it connects to the database, to the database of GitHub, and then it connects to your repository online, and it gets all the data now. So now if I do ls, I will see this new directory in the file, which is the YouTube tutorial, which is the repository that we just created in GitHub. So now I can go to this directory. Now, as you can see, we have this git main, which it mentions that this is a git repository, and we are on the main branch. So we are on the master branch, the main repository. So now if we do ls, we can see that the readme file that it was created when we created the repository is coming there. So now here what we can do is that we can create new files or directories, and then we can add them to this repository. So let's see how we can do that. So we can start with a simple and old school example of hello world. So we create a new file, so we call it touch index.html. So the new file is created, and now you can see this kind of X, yellow X that is shown, which means that the repository has been changed. So if we do a get status, you will see that we are on the main branch, and you said that your match is up to date with the origin main, so nothing is changed on the repository side, on the remote side. But on our side, this new file is now existed in this directory, in this repository, which is called index.html. Now you can open your favorite code editor or IDE and start changing this index.html, and then we can save it, and then we will put it on our repository. So let's do it. So this is the index.html that we just created, and so here really easily we can add a one h1, and it's a header, so nothing to worry about. We put a hello world, and then we just close the h1, and then we save it. So what we can do is that we can open this one, and we can see the hello world in the browser. And what we did now is that our file has some content in it now, and then we can push it to our repository and see how it works. So we go back to our terminal, So here we do a git add, and we right now you can add index HTML. So you just write index.html, or you can, if you have some few files and you want to add them all, you don't need to write them add together. You just need to you can just set git add all and it will work. Or otherwise we can just write help, and we can see all the different variables or addition that you can add to this command to get to have a more more options. So now what we can do is that we can just write git add, and then we can just write the index.html, or what we can do is that we can just put -a, and what it does, it adds all the updated files. Or what we can do is that we can also do a -u, which could work as well. But the thing is, for changing for all the new files, it's better to use a -a, because if you do the -u, it only changes whatever it's updated, so it won't include the new file that we just created. So we just write it, and then it will add it, and then we can go to the Git Status again, and as you can see that it detects now that there is a new index.html file. Now the next step is to commit our file. So when you commit your file or your changes, you can write a message. It's optional, but it's recommended to write a message to know that what stage was it, or what was changed, or if what is the meaning of this change. So what you can do is that you said git commit, it's -m for message, and then in the double quote you can write the message for this change that you made. So we can write that addition of hello world index file, and then we close it, and then we set, and then as you see, it give us some status again of what file changed and what was added. So now that at this stage we can push our file, our changes to our repository, and then we can write git push -u, and then origin, and then main, because we are on the main branch. And then we press enter, and we just wait, and done. So branch main set up direct remote branch main from origin, and the file is it's pushed now. So what we can do, we can go back to our repository and see if our changes are there. You can come here, and then we can just refresh our repository, and voila, you can see that the index.html that we created, it just been added 3 minutes ago, and it's an addition of the hello world index file. So we can open it, and then we can see our hello world that we are written for a header one. Okay, now that you created your changes for your repository, it's time that we create a new branch, and then we go forward from that. Because in reality, when you're working in an environment of production with the other developers, you never push anything to the master. You always make a branch from the master, and then you do your changes, and then you send them back. And then you do a pull request, so you will see and compare the changes you made and changes on the master, and then you will see if it's appropriate to merge your changes or not. So we never do push to the main or master branch. So now let's do it. Oh no, we never push we never push our changes to the main or master branch. We always make a new branch. So now let's make a new branch for a new change to our hello world. So as you can see here in the main, it shows that it's our main branch. So you press on it, on the drop down, it says find or create a branch. So we're creating a new one, and we want to change to the hello to our file. So we can say that for example, stage 1. So that could be the name of our new branch. So we press we create branch as a branch from main, and then voila, we are on stage 1. So now that we have a new branch. So as you can see now, we have two branches in our file, and when you open it, you can see that we have the main, which is a default one, which was created before, and now we have a new one called a stage one, which you can make a new pull request from. But we didn't have any changes, as you can see. That's why here is 00, which means that it's updated with the main branch, so there is no changes. Now it's time to make some changes and then update them. Let's go. So we bring back our terminal. Now that we are in our terminal, we need to check out these new branch that we created and start working with it. So what we can do is that we can do get checkout -b, and then we give the name of our branch, which is a stage 1, and then we press enter. Now it switched to a new branch. As I said, it's called the stage 1, and now in front of get we see switch stage 1, so it means that it is on the new branch that we just created. Now what we can do, we can go back to our code editor, change our file, and then see if it changes. But right now, if I do a get status, you will see here that we are on the branch stage 1, nothing to commit, and as I said, that working tree is clean. Let's open our editor here. So this is the same file from before, and now what we can do is that we can add a just h2. So this is a new header with the number 2, and we just say here this is a new change for our project, and then we close the h2. Now we save the file and we go back to our terminal, and we do a get status again. We see that okay, there is a new modified file. So what we can do is that we can do a, as you said that we can do a this time get add -u, and this is as you can see here, it says that no changes added to commit, use get add and or get commit -a. So commit -a, which it's a combination of get add and get commit. And right now we did a get add, so the next step would be get commit, but we just make sure that the code was added to the changes. And now we do a get commit and then -m, and we do a new message. First stage of changes are done. Okay, we committed, everything is commit, and then we can push it. Get push, so -u, and then it's origin, and then the name of our branch, which is a stage 1. Previously we would do the get push -a origin main, which was because we were working on the main or master branch, but now we are working on stage 1, so we need to do get push origin -u origin and stage 1. Press enter, and now it's done. So now we can come back to our repository on GitHub. We can go back to the main page. As you can see, now we're having at the top of the page, we are seeing stage 1 had recent update, recent pushes less than a minute ago. So it says us compare and make a pull request. Very nice. We click on it. So here we can make more comments regarding the changes we made. So as you can see at the bottom, it says that we had a hello world before, and now it changes to the hello world with the additional line that says this is a new change for our project. So this place is the one that you can see that what was changed, and if you like to accept it or not. So the main thing is, first of all, we can create a pull request here. So we have some description, a small one, first stage of the changes. We don't need to write any comment right for now, and we just create a pull request, and it goes and it comes here back, and it just checks if it's okay to merge this pull request or not, because sometimes there might be some changes on the main branch that you're not aware of and your code is not compatible. So then here you need to fix the merge conflict and then merge it. But now as we don't have any conflicts and everything is fine, we can press on merge pull request, and it's again ask us again to confirm it. So confirm merge, merging, and now our pull request successfully merged and closed. So here you can either delete branch or keep it open or whatever you want. But now if we go back to our code and if we go to the main branch and open the file index.html, you can see that our second changes that we make is now available now. So now this is a new change that we make with a new branch and we just add it here. If you have stayed with me this far, please like and subscribe for more videos like this. I will cover different programming languages and tools that can help developers. I also put some documentation down below in the description section so you can go through them and read them and see different examples as well.